Frame. Pippo Inzaghi has been in the job just over a month. He feels he's got a better understanding of the inner workings of Salernitana now, but he still will be grappling, I'm sure, with what his best team is, who he can rely on most. But Equimesi seems to have really thrived, working under one of the best goal scorers of his generation, Pippo Inzaghi. Equimesi with a goal against Sampdoria in the Cup, goal here this evening against Sassuolo in the league. Unfortunately, there aren't too many other teams that begin with an S in Serie A. Bohinen. Koulibaly. Daniluk. Chauner, there's that burst of pace. Chauner, lovely ball. Boulaïdia, it's two. Salernitana's forwards have come to the party this evening, and Boulaïdia, days on from becoming a father, celebrates in the best possible way by grabbing a goal in Reggio Emilia. Chauner with the step, Chauner with the vision. And this was all about the brute force in the strike from Boulaïdia. Such a reliable source of goals last season for Salernitana. And if he can hit those heights again, they'll have a big chance of staying up. Consigli had no chance with that effort. Equimesi with the first. And Boulaïdia doubles Salernitana's lead at the Mapei. Frel, Sassuolo need to try and respond. Vigna with the ball in. Koulibaly there to pick up the pieces, took a chance. But we might almost have a repeat of that 5-0 scoreline we saw between these two teams last season, albeit the other way around. 13 months ago it was Sassuolo 5, Salernitana 0. This evening it's Sassuolo 0, Salernitana 2 after just a quarter of an hour played. Boulaïdia now up to 4 goals in Serie A this season, having scored 16 last term. All that after pre-season, which was disrupted by talk of him wanting a move away. Did take a few days off for personal reasons back in the summer. Despite reports of him going AWOL, that wasn't necessarily the case. This week, he was given time to go back to France, where he spent the bulk of his life. That was to be present for the birth of his baby son. Toljan with the ball in, headed clear by Pirola. Equimesi causing problems for Ferrari with his physicality, but the referee has already shown a willingness to play on, not just going to blow every time a player goes down and appeals. And Vigna can't control that. So much speculation about the position of the sporting director, Morgan De Sanctis, essentially because he was the one who hired Paulo Sousa. The decision to replace Sousa with Inzaghi was essentially pointing the finger at the head coach, but once the head coach changes and there's no real upturn in fortunes on the pitch, you start to look at the personnel itself and who assembled the playing squad. That was De Sanctis. Had 2 days of meetings in Rome this week. Good ball in that from Castillejo. De Frel will try and keep it in play, but won't manage it. And Sassuolo clearly missing the calming influence of Mateus Henrique, the Brazilian, in that double pivot. He was really thriving alongside Daniel Bolocca. Torstvedt doesn't necessarily offer the same skill set. Up and away by Koulibaly. Mazzocchi. With that goal, Boulaye Dia has now kept up his run of scoring half of Salernitana's goals in the league this season. They've got 8 all told. He's found the net 4 times. He will be required to do a lot of the heavy lifting in the final third. There's no real change compared with last season. Berardi, Bolocca, Torstvedt. Concerning thing for Sassuolo is Bolocca and Torstvedt, the 2 most recent scorers for the Neroverdi in Serie A. Normally used to seeing the likes of Berardi, Lorienté and Pinamonti on the score sheet. They've all gone a little quiet. Hence why Castillejo is starting this evening. Vigna. Danny Luc was strong. Chauna. Well in by Maggiore, Chauna. Sassuolo asking for handball there. It doesn't matter because they've got the ball back. Dionisi has conceded that Sassuolo are over-reliant on Berardi. Doesn't want them to be dependent on one player. Feels that would be synonymous with predictability. That's a similar refrain to what Rudy Garcia was saying earlier on in the season about Stanislav Lobotka, the Napoli holding midfielder. Here is Berardi. It's his ball in. Pinamonti was waiting to attack it. Defrel brings it down and struck it goalwards. It's broken the way of Vigna. Castillejo trying to step away from Maggiore. That's awkward for the goalkeeper, but it is a corner. And you can see why he's been picked tonight, Samuel Castillejo. He's gone closest to scoring for Sassuolo. He's looked lively and a threat whenever he's been found on this near side. Castillejo with the ball in. Defrel was winding up for a volley. Didn't get the opportunity in the end. And clearly that banner, "We want this win," from the Neroverdi supporters at the training ground. Mappe training centres fallen on deaf ears. Short of a dramatic turnaround. There's plenty of time for that. Doesn't look like they're going to get their victory. Vigna couldn't take the ball with him. Emil Bohinen. Forward by Danny Luc. And Ferrari knew he couldn't match Iquemesi for pace there. The assistant started to award the free kick the way of Salernitana. The referee had already decided that Iquemesi fouled Ferrari when trying to retrieve the ball, but Ferrari was canny there. Inzaghi is incredulous at this decision because Ferrari sensed he wasn't going to get to the ball first, stepped across the line of Iquemesi and then went to ground. It is experienced, canny defending. Otherwise, Iquemesi could have been in the clear for his second and Salernitana's third. Dia. Iquemesi now dropping off Ferrari. Boulaye Dia on the overlap. No contact between Berardi and Iquemesi. Berardi saying si butta, he's dived. Perhaps a little bit of contact. Torstvedt. Berardi wanted the give and go with Defrel, still with the Frenchman. Bolocca. Torstvedt Went backwards rather than forwards. The safe pass there, albeit he was being closed down by a couple of white shirts. It's been an intelligent press so far from this Salernitana Christmas tree formation. Maggiore goes down. The referee has now given the decision the way of Salernitana, albeit I think he's just awarded a throw as opposed to a free kick. Lovely diagonal run there from Boulaïdia. Again, it's touch and go, but this time Elic tried to step up just as Boulaïdia went the other way. And the finishing was convincing from the Senegal international. Seems to be a happy man again, enjoying his football, scoring goals for Salernitana. Might yet get his big money move, but it may come in January. Salernitana ideally would like to see it come, if at all, in the summer, having helped fire them to safety. Calmly done by Bohinen. Mazzocchi for Koulibaly. Back came Pinamonti to regain possession. Berardi, Torstved. This is where Sassuolo can hurt the opposition in transition. But Vigna gave it away and was then bailed out by Davide Gersini, the match official. On this evidence, you can see why Dionisi had initially dropped Ferrari at the start of this season, and indeed the latter portion of previous campaign. Struggles now with pace. Castillejo, good first touch again. Pinamonti for Vigna, and Ochoa showing neat and tidy handling again. But Castillejo has been Sassuolo's best player. Vigna's cross a little too close to the goalkeeper there. A very safe pair of hands. Ferrari, Castillejo, now Torstved. This is the way he wants to go. That's a better ball if Castillejo can keep it in play. It was the right idea, it was certainly the correct option, but the weight on the pass was such that it was just between the two players. Castillejo, advantage played, Torstved. This is Berardi! Flashes just wide. And you sense on this occasion Ochoa would have been powerless to stop it. Castillejo was brave, Torstved immediately spotted Berardi, and as he so often does, one touch to get the ball out of his feet, the second was well struck. And a shake of the head suggests that someone of his quality should really have tested the goalkeeper there. Castillejo. He's normally so adept at building out from the back, Andrea Consigli. Perhaps that's indicative of Sassuolo's performance as a whole. They're a little bit on edge, anxious to try and end this winless sequence, which has been fairly unexpected and very underwhelming, it must be said. Lost here to Monza, lost here to Lazio. In between, 1-1 draws at Lecce. And here against Bologna, most recently they were beaten on the road by Torino, so 2 draws and 3 losses. All that on the back of what had been 3 wins in 4. When they beat Verona, Juventus and Inter. The only game they lost was at Frosinone 4-2, and that was having led 2-0 in that match. They could have feasibly won 4 on the spin. Very hard to know what you're getting with Sassuolo. Seem to defy logic. Dia. Chauna. Dia makes that same run, and it was almost the same outcome. Chauna spotted the movement from Dia this time. The diagonal ball a little overhead. But Sassuolo have no answers for what Salernitana have offered in the final third thus far. Ferrari, Dufrel starting to exchange positions now. Some of the other members of that front 4 beginning to go wandering. Toljan for Bologna. Torstved. That was a foul by Danny Luke on Castillejo, who's saying it's not the first time. Start to see some cards as a deterrent. Ferrari. Sassuolo with the bulk of the ball. Salernitana have been deadly in transition. Lovely layoff, Berardi for Pinamonti, who was on his heels rather than his toes. Didn't seem to expect the through ball. Chao now with the flick. Iquemesi. His was the last touch. Sassuolo eager to halve this deficit before the break. Would greatly increase their prospects of getting something from the match. Forward by Consigli. Pirola's won everything so far in the air. Toljan. Pinamonti, that was an intelligent run. Had the pass been spot on. Was a precocious goalscorer, Andrea Pinamonti. Until recently, he was Frosinone's youngest ever scorer in the Italian top flight. Went on loan there from Inter several seasons ago. That record has now been taken by Arion Ibrahimovic, who's no relation to Zlatan, incidentally. Bologna. Castillejo pulling wide. Torstved ahead of him. Torstved now wins a corner off Fazio. Castillejo with the set piece, up and away by Boulaye Dia. Vigna challenged, but Bohinen can try and release Dia. That's what Daniel Bologna has done so well since joining from Frosinone. Picks up all of the pieces and sweeps up all of the potential danger in that holding midfield role. Ferrari straight to Bohinen. Sloppy again from Sassuolo. Just can't seem to use his right foot, Bohinen. He's kept the ball in play though. Vigna wins it back. Bologna. Toljan immediately on for Berardi. Pinamonti waits in the middle. Berardi trying to elude Koulibaly. Toljan. Pinamonti. Now it's with Berardi. He can deliver from there. De Vrel's header, and it's tucked in by Torstvedt. 2-2 for the Norwegian. And he'll be hoping it's a different outcome compared with the defeat at Torino. A hint of joy for Alessio Dionisi. They have half the deficit. De Vrel did well, and Torstvedt had the simplest of finishes there. But finally, Sassuolo offered something in the final third. And Torstvedt strikes just as he did against the Granata of Turin. Now he scores against the Granata of Salerno. And with 10 to play until the break, the Nero Verdi right back in this match. And as predicted, the two teams that hadn't kept a single clean sheet in Serie A this season, the only two sides in the Italian top flight without a shutout, incidentally, have both been breached inside the first half. Concerning thing for Sassuolo will be the symmetry. They lost 2-1 at Torino with their goal coming from Torstvedt. They trailed 2-1 here, having seen Torstvedt score once again. Pinamonti, lovely take. It's got Castillejo in support. Pinamonti! That was a brilliant try. Almost an equaliser just a minute after scoring their first. He bent that ball a country mile. De Vrel. Bolocca. And all of a sudden, those frailties we've previously seen in Salernitana this season are once again evident here. Miscued by Mazzocchi. Castillejo. Fazio's not got it clear. This is Pinamonti. Bolocca. Back for Torstvedt. And now Berardi on his weaker side. It needed a save from Ochoa. He's extremely gifted, Domenico Berardi. This ball sat up so invitingly on his right foot, and he couldn't resist. De Vrel. Berardi once more. Doesn't beat the first man, Boulaye Dia. Castillejo. Vigna hits it, and hits it badly. And out of nowhere, the game has changed. Pinamonti shaping this ball so far. Ochoa well beaten, and it's the frame of the goal that keeps Salernitana's now fragile advantage intact. But it was almost shattered there by Andrea Pinamonti on this, his 150th appearance in Serie A. Cleared by Ochoa. Torstvedt. Berardi appeared offside. Pirola has calmly found Bohinen. Dia. Should be easy enough for Elic. Sassuolo now in the ascendancy as they pursue an equaliser before the interval. Pirola comes across to make sure Berardi didn't latch onto that forward ball. Dia. Diaz won a free kick. There was a dearth of passing options around him, which is why he had to bide his time in the first place. But you tend to get entertaining matches where Sassuolo are involved, so too Salernitana do try and attack. It's not always the best policy, depending on the opposition, but tonight with two weak back lines, certainly the right game plan. Torstvedt, now Berardi. Toljan in support, opening up space. Toljan. Berardi. Koulibaly's won it back though for Salernitana. Now it's Boulaidia. That was handball against Torstved. Chaunar. Bohinen's made a forward run. Chaunar couldn't get away from Vigna. Dufrel. They do look short-handed, Salernitana, when Sassuolo counter like this. Their shape is naturally disrupted when in and out of possession. They haven't been able to get back organised quickly enough to stop the Nero Verdi. Castillejo. Danny Luke's done enough, but the referee has given a corner. Salernitana defender doesn't agree. In comes the corner, swept clear by Koulibaly, and comfortably so. Now Chaunar goes to close down Consigli. Mazzocchi. Bohinen. Breaking the lines for Maggiore. Mazzocchi. Iquemesi away to his left. Boulaidia on this near side. Here he is now. Boulaidia. Chaunar. Chaunar with the cross. Torstved was well positioned to clear. Maggiore. Bolocca for Castillejo, and now Berardi between the lines. Dufrel racing forward in support. Berardi, this is Pinamonti. He'll try and bend it again. Instead he tried to step between two defenders. Fazio asking his goalkeeper why he didn't use his hands there. Bolocca with time and space. Bolocca's effort! And it was not far wide at all. They've been in the goals, Torstved and Bolocca, and it was almost Daniel Bolocca coming up with the equaliser here. Salernitana's confidence was rock bottom coming into this match. They appeared a side transformed after a quarter of an hour when they led by 2-0, but they've relapsed. Bolocca. He's now playing with a spring in his step. Berardi. Pinamonti. Kept Fazio at bay initially. It's back with Bolocca. Berardi showing for it. Dufrel. Toljan, rather. Here's Toljan again. Toljan's cross. Berardi with good skill. Was he caught there? Berardi wants a penalty. I think it was Pasquale Mazzocchi with the challenge. Play will continue because the referee didn't initially see it as an offence, but you can be sure Francesco Meraviglia, the video assistant referee, is now reviewing the footage. Iquemesi, meantime, has had his name taken for that challenge, but the Sassuolo supporters inside the Mapei will be hoping to see a penalty awarded. That's why he's been shown a yellow card there, Iquemesi, reacting badly to what he felt was a kick from behind by Elic, and an elbow to the face could ordinarily warrant a red. Slightly fortunate, perhaps, that it is just a yellow. Berardi has stayed down. It was his trickery initially which caused the problems for Salernitana. Just there, was there contact between Mazzocchi and Berardi? On this second touch there, the studs were showing from Mazzocchi, the boot was high. Could see what both Fazio and Mazzocchi thought about things. And now Davide Gersini asking the Salernitana skipper for calm. 1 added minute becomes 2. No penalty. Berardi will have to find a different way of coming up with the equaliser. Won't get the chance from 12 yards. Torstved for Vigna. Ikwemezi, Bohinen in support. Ikwemezi now playing like a man possessed. Ikwemezi, clever cutback. Chauna should have scored. But the front three are playing very well indeed, combining to excellent effect. Ikwemezi scored the first, Dia back the second, and it was almost Chauna here with goal number 3. Forward by Elic. Pinamonti grappling away. Long by Consigli. Defrel wanted the throw there. He felt the last touch was off a white shirt. Tiziana Trasciatti disagreed. Pinamonti, Berardi, stopped by the half-time whistle. What a very entertaining opening 45 minutes it's been at the Mapei. Ikwemezi got his first goal in the Italian top flight after just 5 minutes to give Salernitana a dream start. Their advantage was subsequently doubled by Boulay Dia, but Christian Torstved has cut the deficit in half, which is why Sassuolo have hope. At the break here, Sassuolo 1, Salernitana 2.
Attention campers, a message from everyone's favorite camp counselor, Josh Dumel.
Ever wanted to reunite with your best friends and recapture the you used to be?
To be with your friends in this setting, it's everything.
And with $200,000 on the line, only the bestest of friends will make it to the end.
Let's go win this $200,000.
Game on!
Buddy Games with Josh Dumel. All episodes now streaming on Paramount+.
We're Whitney and Asher Siegel, and this is Fliplanthropy.
Got it.
This isn't your typical home flipping show, and we're husband and wife. So what could go wrong?
You know you can tell me anything, right?
Of course.
You put the load right on.
Oh, it's about to be a party in here. BetMGM's got all the sports betting in one place. And it's live, baby. Ooh, we're placing money lines in real time. We got second half spreads and third set winners as they happen. Overs hitting in extra innings. Live is where the action is at. Can we give these people a promo? There it is.
I think you're the most beautiful woman in the world. Do you like your life like this?
All this pretending.
Everybody lies about something.
You're a very interesting man.
Interesting is a liability these days.
We lie about who we sleep with because you have no choice.
It's not who we sleep with. It's who we love.
Radio Bruno è la radio di chi al mattino vuole svegliarsi con un sorriso. Ci vuole una buona compagnia quando viaggia in auto. Chi cerca buona musica e tutte le ultime notizie. Radio Bruno è per chi fa una corsa nel parco, ma anche per chi la guarda seduto al bar o nel salotto di casa. Chi prepara una torta per la festa. Ti ama cantare sotto la doccia, ballare sulla spiaggia o innamorarsi per sempre. Radio Bruno, chiamala per nome.
on the money. I think Pinamonti even got the last touch, but Bradaric did enough just to give him something to think about. Struck the frame of the goal in the first half, Pinamonti. That was an effort at full stretch. But again, Salernitana living dangerously defensively. Torstvedt wins the header. Cleverly done by Bohinen. Salernitana take on Lazio at the Arecchi, the other side of the international break. What was once the Claudio Lotito derby when he was in charge of both clubs. Now Danilo Jedvolino is the Salernitana owner and president, having bought the club from a trust fund. Was placed into a trust after Lotito couldn't be in charge of two clubs in the same division following Salernitana's promotion to Serie A. Berardi, Pinamonti, Bohinen played the ball. Meanwhile, Sassuolo go to the Castellani to take on Empoli, which is Alessio Dionisi's former club. He got Empoli promoted, which is what earned him an opportunity here with Sassuolo after the departure of Roberto De Zerbi. Still going very well with Brighton and Hove Albion in the Premier League. Fazio using his experience to good effect. Ciauna for Maggiore. That was almost textbook building out from the back there from Salernitana. Iquemesi had made the run into space. Instead, his colleague thought he wanted it into feet. Torstvedt. On by Castillejo. This is Vigna. Vigna with the ball in. Pinamonti tried to plant it towards a teammate. Torstvedt. Pinamonti's got back on side. Pinamonti! It was rising. He's saying there was a touch. Sooner or later, that goal will come, and with it, you suspect a glut of other strikes. Might just be a case of the Cristiano Ronaldo proverbial ketchup bottle. Give it a shake. Once you're able to dislodge that first bit of sauce, then the rest comes pouring out. Salernitana have scored with their two efforts on target. Not that Andrea Consigli had much of an opportunity to keep either effort out. The second one was hammered into the top corner. The first was a one-on-one where the goalkeeper is never really favourite. Ferrari seeks out Berardi. Pinamonti will do well to keep it in play. Koulibaly. Across came Toljan. As things stand, Salernitana will be leaving the club that no one wants to be a part of, which they're members of, along with Almeria in La Liga and Lyon in Liga 1, teams that haven't yet won a domestic league match this season. Vigna, Torstvedt, he's got another one. The 2-0 lead by Salernitana wiped out by a single player, Christian Torstvedt, who makes it 3 goals in just 2 games. And Dionisi's side have shown powers of recovery. Brilliant resilience from Sassuolo. Castillejo released Vigna. The cutback was towards Pinamonti, but he must have got a shout just at the right time from Torstvedt. And he kept his head, maintained his cool and guided it past Ochoa. And unlike his goal at Torino this evening, you get the sense that Torstvedt's goals might come in a positive cause for Sassuolo. Who needs Mateus Enrique when you've got Christian Torstvedt? Sassuolo have now given it away though. Boulaye Dia, lots of space for Bohinen on the far side, but he took his time in trying to shift it that way. And suddenly, Danilo Iervolino, the Salernitana president's mood will have changed once again. He'll be less convinced of his sporting director. He'll be less sold on his new head coach, Pippo Inzaghi, particularly if this scoreline degenerates further from 2-0 up to 2 each here. Berardi's won it back off Koulibaly. This is Dufrel. Sassuolo hungry to complete the turnaround. Torstved. Berardi playing left wing, but no one attacking the back post. A game which appeared open on paper, and it has turned out that way. And this is why Sassuolo have the worst defensive record in the division. They've shipped another 2 tonight. It is so hard to win matches when you need 3 goals to get the victory. Torstved. Vigna won't quite get there, but it's been a man of the match display so far from Torstved. And it's time to turn to the most experienced outfielder currently playing in Serie A, Antonio Candreva. Only played 6 games fewer than the outfield player with the most appearances, Andrea Consigli, a man he's up against this evening. So Candreva sent on to try and dig Salernitana out of a hole. Chauna got an assist for the second, but since gone a bit quiet. And this is a big story. Simi, who a few short seasons ago was so prolific for Crotone, is going to come on for his compatriot Iquemesi. And Simi was a man who was out in the cold. He was not part of Salernitana's plans under Paulo Sousa, but the injury to Jovan Cabral and a provision which allows clubs to re-register a couple of players between the end of the August transfer window and the start of the January one means that Iquemesi is now replaced by Simi, and Simi is back in the Salernitana fold, having featured against Sampdoria in the Cup. Bolocca, this is Grégoire Dufrel. Just lost his balance as he tried to shoot. He did appear to be weighing up a square ball for Castillejo. Dufrel. Salernitana struggling to live with Sassuolo now, who have greater energy. Real verve about the Nero Verdi. Castillejo. They formed an impressive attacking alliance on that far side, Castillejo and Vigna. 2 players who quite literally speak the same language. One's Uruguayan, the other is from Spain. So Spanish, both their mother tongue. Simi. He will be rusty, Simi. Pippo Inzaghi said not to expect miracles from him. Berardi's given it away to Bradaric. This is Giulio Maggiore. Bradaric again. Boulaye Dia waits, so too Simi. Bradaric with the cross. Cleared away by Martin Ehrlich. Dia dispossessed. Berardi could have played it into the space in behind for Pinamonti. Instead, Berardi's won it back, and Pinamonti gets a throw. The tide has turned against Salernitana. Pippo Inzaghi's men now really trying to keep their heads above water. Torstved. It was Castillejo stretching the pitch. Vigna's ball forward. Torstved's now on a hat-trick. Dufrel backing in. Torstved with the cross. Berardi, it's a long way out, but he made good purchase on the header. All the time in the world now for Sassuolo to go on and win this match, more than half an hour. Start to wonder how Salernitana can force their way back into this. So demoralising psychologically to go 2 goals up, having not won a game all season, to then surrender that advantage. Simi holding it up. Maggiore for Koulibaly, and now Dia can release Bradaric. Simi waits again in the middle, Bradaric. Back it goes for Koulibaly, who went for the top corner, and it was perhaps the wrong option. Now time for Mateusz Łęgowski. Bohinen did well, certainly in the first half. His influence began to wane in the second period. The feeling was that Bohinen is their best ball-playing midfielder, but lacks the physicality, doesn't win too many challenges, which is why he needs to be flanked by both Koulibaly and Maggiore. Got a bit more about them in terms of tenacity, but Łęgowski ideally does a bit of both. Candreva. Mazzocchi. Candreva. Should be easy enough for Ferrari to deal with. That was a shove by Maggiore on Castillejo. Sassuolo will take it quickly. Daniel Bolocchia. Bolocchia. Berardi for Pinamonti. Tried to turn it back towards Berardi, didn't come off. But the Neroverdi still have possession as we move past the hour mark here in Reggio Emilia. Vigna. Castillejo. Bolocchia. Toljan for Berardi. Time and space now for Bolocchia. So too De Frel. De Frel's ball in. Pinamonti, it was behind him. Did well to readjust. Couldn't do enough to guide it on target. But it is chance after chance after chance now for Sassuolo. Salernitana not staying tight. Pirola perhaps did enough there. It was the quality of the cross really which decreased the probability of scoring there. I'd like to know what that would figure as in terms of expected goals, which are all the rage these days. Bradaric. Dia. De Frel was determined. Torstved has it. This is Berardi. Bouncing off the challenge with Pirola and switching it beautifully for Pinamonti. Vigna. Now Castillejo. Plenty of teammates waiting for Vigna to toss one into the middle. The cross doesn't come. Castillejo. De Frel beaten in the air. Toljan. Good as athleticism there from Berardi to bring the ball under control. Berardi. Vigna again stepping forward. Castillejo can roll it square for Bolocchia. He's got Berardi with him. Bolocchia. Castillejo. Fazio slides in to concede the corner. But this is looking inevitable. It appears only a matter of time until Sassuolo score again. Seventh corner for the hosts. Castillejo for Vigna. Didn't strike the ball with conviction. That's the sort of place you'd need Berardi to be lurking, albeit he's more conspicuous if you leave him unattended on the edge of the box. Vigna wasn't considered the same threat, and clearly with good reason, the way he struck that ball. Belic. Toljan. Bolocca for Berardi. Vigna. Now it's with Castillejo, who's more than justified his inclusion this evening. He's had an excellent game. Torstved. Ferrari finding Castillejo. Now the cross does come in. Ochoa got something on it, helped it towards safety. But they're still boxed in here, the visitors. Bolocca. Berardi allowed to turn. Torstved. Vigna. Toljan now. Berardi couldn't bring it under control. Miscued by Bradaric. Torstved. Pinamonti. No foul on him. Salernitana can't get hold of the ball. Can't get out of their own half here. Vigna. Torstved. It is relentless pressure from Sassuolo. Gregoire de Frel, Castillejo, Ferrari for Vigna. Vigna's cross is deep, too deep. All it requires is a touch more patience from Alessio Dionisi and Sassuolo, and you get the impression that they will force their way past Salernitana a third time. Candreva needs to try and stem the flow here, because they are hemorrhaging in terms of goals conceded. ...24 goals against now in 12 matches, an average of 2 every game is what they're conceding. So this is just par for the course. It's the same 2 that they conceded against Napoli. Now Simi gives chase. Consigli was swiftly off his line. Wenkowski trying to keep pace with Toljan. Dia. That's a clever touch inside. Maggiore got out of the way. Dia for Candreva, who can make things happen. Sassuolo have now got numbers back, but Maggiore in acres of space. Candreva. Here is Maggiore now. Wenkowski. Candreva dispossessed by Castillejo. And Sassuolo will counter with intent. Pinamonti waits in the middle. Berardi racing forward too. Castillejo. No foul by Candreva. The referee mimics the body language from the Serie A veteran. A cupped hand to say, on your feet. How much contact, if any, was there? None. Good decision. Toljan tried to surge away from Dia. Again, the referee saw nothing wrong with the challenge. Really does glide across the turf, Boulaye Dia, but that's loose, straight to Castillejo. Pinamonti now. Pirola with a very forceful 50-50, but a fair one. Simi making life awkward for Toljan. History told us that no side had ever stayed up after just 4 points from 11 matches in Serie A. That was the tally that Salernitana boasted going into this match. Not much of a boast, it must be said. Not helping their cause here. Berardi for Castillejo. Toljan. Bolocca. Castillejo swapping wings and looking for joy over this side. No one read the Berardi dummy. No one was in the vicinity to receive it, if we're perfectly honest. Koulibaly. It has been end-to-end stuff in this second half. Juan Lucas Sacchi, the fourth official, saying, Mister, per favore, come on, Gaffer, get back in your technical area. Inzaghi's started to stray. It is a new lease of life for Simi. Certainly got a very lucrative contract with Salernitana, 800,000 euros after tax a year, reportedly. Can tell you that last season he was busier as a spectator than a player. He would never miss a home Champions League match featuring Napoli. Their run all the way to the quarter-finals. He's very good friends off the pitch with his compatriot Victor Osimhen. You would always see him there on a midweek night at the Maradona. Just a hop, skip and a jump from Salerno as well. Sassuolo have been given the throw there, at least initially. Mazzocchi, Winkowski, just overhit for Simi. It wasn't a particularly difficult ball there, just a straight through ball. It was all about pace and there was too much on it. Daniel Bolocca, it's his turn to carry. No foul on Pinamonti, says the referee. That's going to be a yellow card for Toljan, meantime. After Iquemezi was cautioned in the first half, Toljan now is the Sassuolo player to have his name taken. He's saying his was a response to what he felt was a foul there on Pinamonti by Pirola. I'm minded to agree. Seemed to go through the back. Christian Volpato. Australian born.
Sostituzione Sassuolo, esce il numero 20 Castigliano, entra il numero 23 Christian Volpato.
So Volpato, latest name to have joined Sassuolo from Roma. There have been plenty down the years. Not always directly, if you think about Fratesi. Scamacca was in the Roma Academy as well. Seen Marchizza play here. Vigna currently on loan from Roma. Defrel had a spell with the Giallorossi. Loriente introduced, and now would be high time for Sassuolo to get a goal from one of their substitutes. They, along with Salernitana, two of the teams that haven't yet had a goal off the bench this season. Monza the other side. We're in that territory now. Radaric with the free kick. Fazio should win the aerial challenge. On by Pirola. Stuck out an arm there, Pinamonti. Took a really big risk. And Fazio continues to plead and appeal for a penalty. Loriente for the first time, meantime. Volpato, first to the loose ball. Here he is again. Volpato couldn't find Loriente. Vigna. Now it's with Loriente. Volpato, the substitutes getting on the ball immediately here. So they look to impress Alessio Dionisi, their head coach, who reacted very well to the banner saying, "We want this win" at the training ground. He said, well, the fans simply want what we want as well. He also said he's not worried, that people who are worried tend to make rash, wrong decisions. There, Pinamonti, the arm was down by his side, so not in an unnatural position. It might have just brushed the forearm. Seemed to be turning his body away from the ball as opposed to moving towards it. And that's why the referee's instinctive hunch was the correct one. It's probably a tautology, isn't it? An instinctive hunch. I think all hunches are born out of instinct. Bouladia spotted Candreva on the far side. The pass wasn't the most precise. It still found its intended target. Koulibaly. Candreva seeking out Wengovski. Simi in the middle. Simi gets there and missed his kick. That would have been some story had Simi scored. Lorienté, you don't want to allow him too much space. Torstved. Bolocca. Now it's with Berardi. Volpato didn't expect the pass. Clear signs of rust there from Simi, because the ball into him was exactly what he would have been expecting. Exactly the sort of chance he would have gobbled up when he was so prolific on it. Pippo Inzaghi said, let's not expect miracles, but he can go back to being the player who dazzled everyone a few years ago. There's nothing dazzling about that finish. But that's better from Simi. Brilliant hold-up play. Bouladia looks the wrong side. Now the flag does appear. But that's what he can offer Simi, that Jovan Cabral, the injured player who he's replaced, got a calf problem incidentally, the man who they brought in from Sporting, was with Lazio last season, Jovan Cabral. Comes from Cape Verde. Lorienté, he'll catch up to it, but his back heel is nothing more than an assist here to Pasquale Mazzocchi. Pinamonti working hard. Simi again putting his body about, but illegally so on this occasion. Elic felt the full force. Torstved. Lorienté. And after that ferocious chase to get the second goal, just gone a bit quiet. Sassuolo discouraged by their inability to follow goal number 2 with the third. Ferrari's ball in, swept away by Pirola. Here's Torstved. Berardi couldn't get there, Pinamonti might yet. Offside the decision. Pinamonti came back from an offside position. Just his ability to play the ball there and his intent to close down Pirola is what prompted the flag and the whistle. Should be dealt with by Elic. Simi's got there ahead of Toljan. Nice skill from Simi. Lorienté hunted down by Koulibaly. Torstved turns straight into Maggiore. There are some tired legs out there. It's been a busy run of games. Sure, these sides aren't involved in Europe, but they both had to negotiate second round cup ties, which added an extra fixture into the mix. Candreva makes the forward run. That's who Mazzocchi seeks out. Bolocca. Berardi unhappy because the run was an intelligent one, with a little bit more guile from his colleague. Might have been in the clear. Pinamonti charged it down. Pinamonti for Berardi. Pirola got back. It might take a mistake from someone for us to have a winner here. Volpato takes the corner. Ferrari at the back post. Well snaffled by Ochoa. Good attempt from the captain, guiding it back across goal. Simi might well have cleared it off the line in any case, but Ochoa wasn't to know. Simi wins the ball twice. Couldn't quite poke it through towards Dia. Now Consigli has to clear hurriedly. Fazio trod on the ball and almost showed too much to Pinamonti. Ochoa's given it away to Berardi. Volpato working hard, lovely skill. Toljan. Still with Toljan. Berardi almost tackled his own teammate. Pinamonti striking it on the turn. Salernitana haven't got it away. Torstved turned into Candreva. Dia. That's going to be a yellow card now for Torstved. Knew exactly what he was doing as soon as Dia nudged it away. Was about to get away.
Sostituzione Sassuolo. Esce il numero 9 Andrea Pinamonti.
Still no goal for Pinamonti. Came very close on his 150th Serie A appearance. Struck the frame of the goal in the first half. And he's replaced by Mulattieri. Mulattieri doesn't get much in the way of game time. Yet to start a match in Serie A this season. Did play from the first whistle in the cup tie against Spezia recently. Has grabbed a couple of goals in the cup this season. Volpato closing down Pirola there. Berardi, Volpato, there was space for Loriente, instead Berardi has it. Berardi will try again here. Mulattieri, this is Volpato! And Loriente! Ochoa with a double save in the nick of time. He's keeping Salernitana afloat. Berardi causing problems, Mulattieri kept it alive. Volpato's shot was too hot to handle, but then Ochoa just kicked it to safety as Loriente was quickly on the scene. In it comes from Volpato, again Ferrari waiting round the back. Smashed clear by Candreva. Simi. Węgowski. Candreva's run offside, miles offside in fact. He'll press ahead for the moment. Candreva kept out by Consigli. Now the flag appears. Candreva wanted the ball several seconds earlier than that. Look how far offside he eventually ran. Good 2 yards. Torstved, beaten to it by Fazio. Here comes Agustin Martigani. He played a lot more under Paolo Sosa than he has under Pippo Inzaghi. Certainly an aesthetically pleasing player with a very nice left foot. But is he the man for a relegation battle? We'll find out here. 7 minutes plus added time. Maggiore, the man replaced. Torstved. Referee was almost in his way there. Węgowski. Bolocka knew what was in his mind. Volpato. Lorienté. Lorienté with the effort. And it was improvised by Ochoa. Seemed to catch his midriff. It was shades of Andre Onana of Inter last season. Keeping the ball out with unusual parts of the anatomy. Seemed surprised by the trajectory on the ball. That's a nice driven pass for Bradaric. They're still in this game, Salernitana. A point would be better than none, but given the way the match started, they will go away with plenty of regrets. They've barely fashioned a chance in this second half. One might be enough to win it, though. Boulaye Dia. Candreva. Diaz in support. Boulaye Dia now, if he can shoot. He could, but he couldn't force the ball through. Torstved. It's route one towards Mulatieri, given away by Fazio. Lorienté. Still with Lorienté. Now he finds Berardi. This is Bolocka. Berardi. Volpato, allowed to turn. Tolian. Lorienté's cross. Mulatieri. It's off the post. Berardi. Another stunning save from Ochoa. Now Torstved for the hat-trick goal. It goes off target. Berardi and Sassuolo wondering how they don't lead in this match. Mulatieri struck the post just as Pinamonti, his predecessor, had, and after Berardi hammered it goalwards, it ended up being straight at Ochoa. That first effort was deflected. This one was struck cleanly by Berardi. And Dionisi's side running out of time. They could keep playing tonight, and you feel Sassuolo would score sooner rather than later. It's whether they can do so in what remains here. But Memo Ochoa, who frequently in his time in Italian football has recorded double figures in terms of saves, has again produced this evening. Lorienté tracking back. Ferrari needs to be careful. Martegani closing him down. Lorienté took no chances. Well won by Pirola. Elic. Berardi for Volpato. That's a pull of the shirt by Pirola. Good advantage. Bolocka away from Węgowski. Torstved between the lines. But now it's Lorienté. He can cut inside. Lorienté. Mazzocchi knew what to expect. And Martegani has released Dia. Only Simi away to his left. Martegani trying to get forward in support. Boulaye Dia. Now it's with Martegani. Couldn't thread it through towards Simi. Mulatieri holding off Węgowski, who then grabbed his shirt. That has to be a yellow card. That's what Ferrari's saying. By the letter of the law, that is an automatic caution, but Davide Gersini saw it differently. Lorienté trying to outpace Mazzocchi. Fazio there to back up his teammate. Really pulsating conclusion to this match. Both teams are desperate to end a winless run, so neither settling for a draw. Salernitana at this stage going for broke as well. Mazzocchi, that's a foul on Simi by Ferrari. Surely Ferrari no interest in playing the ball, knew that Simi had too much pace for him and just blocked him off. Obstruction at the very least. Bolocka, cleverly played through for Lorienté. Lorienté with Volpato on the edge. Lorienté instead tried to drive it along the 6-yard line. And the corner count extremely significant now for Sassuolo. Pippo Inzaghi knows all about fine margins. He was well versed in them in his playing career. Always on the edge of the offside line. A point would be better than none here. They have to keep that in mind, Salernitana. They have to defend for their lives and their Serie A future. Lorienté takes the set piece. Berardi! Brilliant block. What a block that is from Bradaric. Yet another corner. We're into double figures. Bent in by Berardi. False start. Sticking to the zonal marking here, Salernitana. Bent in this time by Berardi. Ochoa's come wandering, made the right decision. Lorienté, can he stand up across? This is Vigna through the crowd and cleared comfortably by Fazio. Volpato. We're now into the last minute of the 90. Not that we want this game to end, it's been so much fun. Volpato's given it away to Martegani. Simi making the forward run. Martegani was tripped from behind. How much in the way of added time? Consigli was back on his line by the time Mazzocchi tossed that forward, trying to catch him off his line. 4 added minutes. The way things are going, you would expect Sassuolo to open up Salernitana at least one more time. Mulattieri couldn't feed Berardi. This is Bradaric for Salernitana. Dia calling for it, doesn't get it. Candreva. Now Dia receives the ball. Dia away from Erlich. Simi. The ball just bounced off him. Given away to Bradaric. Suddenly it's a bit anxious from Salernitana and Sassuolo. Bradaric with the cross. Way overhit. He wants greater urgency, Alessio Dionisi, and who can blame him? Time is of the essence now, every second counts. Mulattieri's got away from Fazio. He has Berardi waiting. Mulattieri, Berardi took a loose touch. For once his control let him down. It doesn't happen very often. That's going to be a Sassuolo throw. Torstved. Mazzocchi played the ball. Torstved down holding his knee, but he needs to get up and shake it off. Vigna, Lorienté for Volpato, and Torstved tried to poke it past Ochoa. The way he's finished tonight, you wouldn't have bet against him there, but this was the hardest of his 3 opportunities. Wonderful vision from Volpato just to flick it through. Fazio, to his credit, did enough. Simi. Candreva takes over. It's now Salernitana's turn to try and conjure something up. Węgowski. Mazzocchi. Węgowski again. And it's found a way through to Mazzocchi. It's his ball in. This is Martegani. Toljan knew someone was behind him in white. Candreva. Martegani now, cannoned off Erlich. Boloka, he's been dispossessed by Bradaric. They've found a second wind here, Salernitana, but they've given it away. Volpato could have just played in Berardi there. Toljan. Bradaric with an outstretched boot. Simi for Węgowski. Erlich stayed tight. We've got 30 more seconds of added time. Does look like it's going to end in a draw. Both teams reluctant for that to come to pass. Simi the target, Erlich won the header. Simi was impeded, the whistle's gone, and Salernitana can get the ball forward here for one last attempt at goal, perhaps. Given how much time has gone, it has to go into the mixer, surely. They need to look for Simi or Dia or perhaps Fazio, and it's all about the quality here from Bradaric. The 4 added minutes have been and gone. The referee affording them one last opportunity. Sassuolo with a very high line here, so that Consigli can potentially come and claim. But the referee decided Bradaric took too long over the free kick, and after all that, the final whistle goes. It's a little bit of an anticlimax, given what we witnessed. Christian Torsved